Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish videos and give this video a thumbs up if you like reading challenges. And with that, welcome to my first ever 24-hour reading vlog. So we're gonna change the format a little. I'm just gonna try to fill up those 24 hours within this entire week. I'm hoping by next weekend I can finish this vlog. This is the time limit that I'm setting for myself. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna sacrifice sleep for this vlog. I know that there are some pretty awesome booktubers out there who will literally read for 24 hours straight. I cannot do that. My body will not allow me to do that, and I have to be a functioning human being. I'll just have a timer on my phone that I'm gonna let run every time I sit down to read. But let's talk about the TBR. For my short books, I have the Mistletoe Mystery by Nita Prose. This is the Maid novella. So The Maid is a mystery series. There are 2 full-size novels out at this point, and this is a short novella before the 3rd one comes out in the beginning of next year. And this is a cozy murder mystery that takes place in a hotel. Actually, I'm not sure what this exact book is about, but that's what the series is about. And because it's so short, I don't even want to know. This is a much bigger book, but I had already started it and I intend to finish this year. So I'm probably gonna read a few chapters in this as well. It's The Virgins of Venice by Gina, Buonaguro. So this is one of the 2 books that my boyfriend picked out for me this year to read. This is a tradition that we have where he'll randomly pick books out for me, and this is one of them. I never carry these over into the next year, which is why I'm dead set on finishing it in December, and so far so good. I've been really enjoying it. Lastly, I have an audiobook that I'm in the middle of. It's The Mirror by Nora Roberts. I am 29% into this audiobook. So this is book number 2 in the Lost Bride trilogy. I read Inheritance last year, my first ever Nora Roberts book, and I fell in love with it. It is one of the coziest books that I've read, I think, ever. And it's great because it's a mixture of cozy but also supernatural, but also romance, and just very low stakes while also having a very interesting storyline. I figured if I want to do something more active, I can still listen to an audiobook and have the clock running. This is the program for this cozy reading vlog, and I'll tell you more about the books as I pick them up. It's a wild Friday night over here. I am all snuggled up. I have some ice cream that is half melting and The Virgins of Venice. This is historical fiction that is set in Venice in 1509. I was in the beginning a bit worried when I picked this up because this is the 3rd book this year that I'm picking up that takes place in Venice. The first one I had DNF'd, the second one I haven't finished yet, and it's kind of putting me in a reading slump, which is actually why I decided to go with this book. But against all odds, I'm actually really enjoying it so far. And one of the things that makes this so readable is, first of all, the writing, but also the chapters are nice and short. Each chapter is just a few pages long, so it feels very motivating to finish a chapter and start one. The book is about 2 sisters, Justina and Rosa. Justina is the older one. She's 16 and she's in love with a boy named Luca. She is really hoping that she gets promised to him, and it is quite unusual in that time to go into a marriage because of a love match. But her world gets upside down when instead of her, it is her younger sister Rosa who gets to marry somebody for political gain of the family. And instead of marrying, Justina gets sent to a convent. Those are not spoilers. That's all on the blurb of the book, and that's actually where I'm at right now. The news was just broken to the sisters, and they're both devastated in their own ways because Rosa is only 13 years old. And she has to marry some random man she's never met before. friends. It is day 2. This morning, in between reading The Virgins of Venice after waking up and then listening to my Nora audiobook while I was running errands, which you saw, I am now at 2 hours of reading, so I still have a lot of ways to go. I am really enjoying The Mirror. The narration of this audiobook, just like the first one, is spectacular. There's something about the voice of this voice actress that is so addictive. I love listening to her talk. I love listening to her doing different characters, and there's just this quality of tone in her voice that just really speaks to me. Because this is book 2 in a trilogy, I can't exactly tell you where am I at right now with the story because that would give some things away, but I can tell you what the first book is about. Our main character is Sonia, who's in her late 20s, a very successful graphic designer, and she's about to get married, but all of that kind of falls apart, and she finds herself at a crossroad in her lives because she finds out that she's actually inheriting a huge cliffside manor on the East Coast. One thing leads to another, and she packs up all of her things and decides to move into this manor where she gets acquainted with the people who live in the adjacent village, and she also gets to know her long lost relatives and gets to learn about her family history. And she very quickly learns that there's something supernatural going on in this cliffside manor, and most importantly, there is a curse on her family that takes young brides and they just basically die on their wedding day. It is full of beautiful female friendships, and it's so amazing to see so many people just being really good at their jobs. This author is just so good in capturing day-to-day activities in a very wholesome but still very interesting manner. I want to keep listening to the audiobook, and at the same time I'm going to pack up my sister's advent calendar, so I wanted to show you what I got her. So this is the selection of goodies and snacks, sweets that I got. So I'm going to pack all of this up in wrapping paper and then write a number on it so she can open a package per day. And voila, here it is. I finished wrapping all of the gifts and stuck them into this gift box, and now it's ready for December 1st. And I did another hour on my audiobook. Happy Sunday! I just came home from having a nice brunch with a girlfriend. Before I can snuggle up and keep reading my physical book, I need to clean up a mess here in the living room. There is stuff everywhere, and there's even still some of the Halloween decoration. So I need to clean all of this up. While doing so, I will continue my audiobook. I am now at 51%, and the chaos has been mitigated. This is my sister's advent calendar that I just gave her. I surprised her with it. She was so happy. And this is a chocolate advent calendar for me. Hey guys, it is Tuesday and I'm in my boyfriend's Christmas sweater that I borrowed because we had a team holiday lunch today. So in total, I am at 4 hours and 49 minutes of reading, which is not bad, but it's also not great. Anyways, I just wanted to check in. I'm almost at halfway point of The Virgins of Venice. I am really liking it so far. It's exceeding my expectations. There was a moment in there that made my jaw literally drop because I didn't see that coming. Rosa was married off to this lord, and at the same time Justina is now in the convent. And what I really appreciate about this book is that
we're not focusing on just Gina just feeling sorry for herself and possibly being angry at her sister for her being able to get married while she is never going to be able to marry. She feels so much sorrow and dread and fear for her sister, obviously also for herself, but there's so much compassion there and worry and just sisterly bond. And this world just keeps being cruel to women. I think it is very probably realistically depicted on how powerless women are at that point in history. They have no control over their bodies, over their lives, over their decisions. They can't even show their face without a veil outside. All of that to say, I'm really enjoying it so far.
Guys, it is now Saturday. I am now at 6 hours and 42 minutes on my reading clock, and technically I'm supposed to complete the 24 hours until tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. I might have to extend this vlog a little. So right now we are, and with we I mean my boyfriend and I, are relaxing, and we're actually listening to an audiobook together. So around Halloween time, we started listening to Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. And so we're using the box that you see up here to listen to it at the same time, because I figured it's kind of a fun thing to do since this is apparently a very, very scary audiobook, so I didn't want to listen to it alone. And it gets quite creepy. And while listening to the audiobook, we are always working on this puzzle here and having some coffee. So this is for a relaxing Saturday afternoon. Good morning from me and the raccoons up there. It is Saturday and I have 10.5 hours left on my 24-hour reading challenge. This is, I think, the third Saturday now where I'm doing this, so everything is just stretched out a bit longer than I anticipated. And I actually had to switch my timer from a stopwatch to a clock that runs down because I accidentally erased it at the 11.5-hour mark this morning. This morning I started the Mistletoe mystery by Nita Prose. I love The Maid and The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. Those are the first two books in this cozy mystery series. This is a short little novella that takes place at Christmas time, so I've been keeping this for December and specifically for a chill weekend, and I'm already halfway through, I think. So yeah, very short. I'm probably gonna finish it today, and it's really lovely so far. In the first two books, we follow Molly the maid on a mystery that circles in the Grand Regency Hotel while she works, and it is a very character-driven, cozy, slow, low-stakes mystery, but there's something about the writing and the characters that I just really love. So I was so happy to hear that the author brought out this little Christmas edition. Molly used to be very, very close with her now late grandma, and what I really liked about the second book is that it really focuses on her grandma, and now once again she's reflecting on a lot of beautiful Christmas memories with her. I think we're gonna have breakfast soon, and today we're gonna make some cabbage rolls with his mom, some traditional Romanian cabbage rolls which are called sarmale. So she always makes a lot of those for Christmas, which I'm really, really excited about. So we're gonna go over later and help them. We have completed our puzzle! Woo! I can't believe we still have all of the pieces
because I bought this I think 2 years ago and I attempted to do this puzzle before.
Hey guys, we got some exciting book mail today and I wanted to unbox it with you. And behind the camera, you don't see them because I don't want to be in the video, are my boyfriend and my sister. Do you want to say hi?
Hi guys.
Hey.
Okay, so one of our favorite indie bookstores, I got an ad from them on Instagram that they're doing this surprise book box thing where you can choose between 3 books and more, where you give them the genres that you're interested in and your favorite authors, and they're gonna surprise you with their selection of books. So I wanted to get the 3 book box for myself, but I figured that's not great for trying to read as much as I can from the books I already have. So I convinced my sister and my boyfriend to share the box with me. So we basically wrote them what our favorite authors are. So do you want to say who you chose as your favorite authors for inspo?
Yeah, so I got Celeste Ning, is that how you pronounce
Yes.
it? And then Carly Fortune and Taylor Jenkins Reid.
So more like romancy, lit fic vibes. Who did you choose?
I had J.R.R. Tolkien and...
Who did?
Hey. And the author of Lord of the Rings.
Who's J.R.R. Tolkien?
Goddamn.
I never read it, okay.
Okay, and?
James Clavell.
Who wrote?
The author of Shogun.
Perfect. And I chose Shirley Jackson, Catriona Ward, and Agatha Christie, so I'm more on the thriller, mystery, horror vibe side. Oh, and I should add that these books are probably used because they sell used books in that bookstore, amongst other things. Oh, they're wrapped! Oh, they're packaged like this! And it has the I didn't buy it on Amazon sticker.
Oh.
Oh, that is so cute. Okay. They have numbers on them. I'm trying to remember. Huh?
I think the fat book is Alex.
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think Alex's is the fat one. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a fantasy, historical fiction, something. Okay.
Ew, I look a little...
You don't have to be on
No, it's
camera.
okay, never mind. It says, oh, Half-Blood?
Huh?
I have no
Never
idea.
heard of that book
Is
before.
that for me?
I don't know.
By Ezzy, I don't know.
Ezzy Edukian.
I don't
A truly beautiful novel.
Oh.
It's a Canada Reads selection. Okay, maybe read us the like summary.
From the smoky bars of pre-war Berlin to the salons of Paris, the narrator of Half-Blood Blues, musician Sid Griffiths, leads the reader through a fascinating little-known world and into the heart of his own guilty conscience.
I think it's giving me Celeste Ning vibes.
Yeah? Okay. I don't know.
I think so.
Let's...
But that's kind of cool that you've never...
Yeah.
I've never heard of this book or this author
No.
before, but it's an award winner.
Yeah.
And you got more. I didn't buy it on Amazon stickers.
Yes.
Okay, wait, let's open the second one. I think I'm number 2.
Yeah.
Donna Leon, Drawing Conclusions. Late one night, Commissario Guido Brunetti is called away from dinner to investigate the death of a widow in her modest apartment. Yeah, this is definitely for me, so that must be for you. 20th installment in Donna Leon's Magisterial Brunetti series. So this sounds like a thriller mystery to me, so this is definitely for me. I've never heard of this book before, this series, or this author, so that's interesting. Okay, so that's for me. So number 3 would be you.
Shantaram.
By?
Novel by Gregory David Roberts. So begins this epic, mesmerizing first novel set in the underworld of contemporary Bombay. Sounds pretty cool. Definitely never heard of this or of the author.
Me
It's
neither.
definitely a bigger one at 807 something pages. Almost. Actually, no, it's a bit over 900 pages.
I'm wondering if I'm gonna get this because this is the 20th installment of a series, but it sounds like it's a standalone type of story, so that's good. So yours is more, I think, Celeste Ning rather than like straight up lighthearted romance.
It's gonna like really surprise me. So
I might because it did
Yeah.
win a literary award, and yours is just very chunky, so we'll see. Happy Friday evening. I've logged off work, we did some groceries, and now we're about to enjoy some Lost, and we ordered pizza. This is your classic pepperoni and mushroom. And this one I got upon recommendation of some friends. So this is a pizza with the creamy garlic sauce, and I added some bruschetta tomatoes on top because I figured it will go well with it. And usually you get 2 dips, but because they didn't have the one that we wanted, we got 4. This is gonna be a feast. This is my first plate, and we actually changed plans. We're gonna watch some What We Do in the Shadows because we're in the mood for something funny. It is Sunday morning now, and I'm officially at just over 2 hours left on my 24-hour reading challenge. So I have a friend's miss tonight, and I'm currently cleaning the apartment, and I'm going to put my AirPods in and listen to Legendborn while I'm cleaning, and hopefully knock at least 1 hour out of the leftover 2 hours out. Legendborn was actually my favorite book that I read last year, and this is a reread because I'm planning to read the second book in the new year. If you love fantasy and you haven't picked this book up yet, you really have to. It weaves together the story about 16-year-old Brie Matthews who attends UNC Chapel Hill. She encounters that there's a secret society that has to do with the Arthurian legend. She learns that magic is real. She investigates if magic had something to do with her mom's recent death. So there's a lot of stories about ancestry, grief, trauma, all weaved in together, but also a bit of romance. It is an absolutely amazing piece of fantasy, and I'm rereading it. And last night before going to bed, I actually finished The Mirror by Nora Roberts. I finished the audiobook. It was, I think, 30 hours? It was quite long. I started this in October. This is the second book in the series that picks up right after the first one ends. Honestly, I really liked it. It's a 3.5 out of 5, so I think half a star, or is it 1 full star less than the first one, just because I thought that this one moved a tad too slow for me. So it still has those cozy vibes where we focus a lot on the beautiful day-to-day fulfilling life of our main character and her best friend, who together moved into this manor in, is it coastal Maine? Our main character Sonia learns more and more about the manor's history and why there's been 7 brides that have died in the history of the family. While we were learning more about the past through flashbacks, we don't have an actual resolution yet. So I'm guessing that comes in the 3rd and final book of the series, which I will absolutely read or listen to. So that's a great win because I've been listening to this audiobook for weeks now, and I've finally finished it within this challenge. We have come to the end of this 24-hour reading challenge. So this turned from planned to being filmed within a week to 3 weeks, but I've been successful in finishing 4 books in total, which is a huge win. I already told you about The Mirror by Nora Roberts. The second book that I finished is the sweet and short novella, The Mistletoe Mystery by Nita Prose. When I was telling you about this book, I basically finished it right then and there. I read it in 2 sittings. It's such a short novella, super sweet, gives you all the feels. It focuses more on the romance part of this series, and I don't think that this is a standalone. You shouldn't be reading this if you haven't read the first and second, the main book. This is really just more a supplement, a little extra for the Christmas times for the fans of the series like me. This was 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. And 2 weeks ago, I actually finished The Virgins of Venice by Gina Buonaguro. This historical fiction lost me a little in the end, so I was really enjoying myself. I was flying through the chapters, well, for my speed. But then in the end, everything kind of came crashing down. I feel like the author has undone a lot of the character development. I guess it's just not the ending that I hoped I would get. This is quite a slow moving book, so the fact that in the end everything wraps up within, it feels like 10 pages, everything that this book has been building up to, was a little bit of a letdown. I do think that the author needs to work a little on her character arcs and ending. I think that the motivations of the characters were sometimes a bit all over the place, just kind of against what they were setting out to do in the beginning. So it felt a little forced, but in itself, the writing, it reads very fluently.
even though it is a slow book, I wanted to keep going and start reading the next chapter. But yeah, I think that the author needs a bit of work. In the end, I am rating this book with 3.5 stars. And then while finishing the puzzle that I showed you, we also finished listening to Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. So this was to me a 1.5 or even a 1 star, but I think we gave it a generous 2 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think?
So yeah, I didn't particularly like it for a few reasons, namely the fact that the pacing was a bit off. There's a couple of points in the story where I felt like things were dragging a little bit and they could speed it up, and it was a bit repetitive.
I find that the beginning was very strong.
Mm-hmm.
It actually freaked me out, and then yeah, it became very repetitive.
Yeah.
And it kind of threw us around this loop that at some point I was just really bored and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty much go from point A to point B. They think they're safe, but turns out they're not. Then go to point C, they think they're safe, turns out they're not,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So that was one thing. The second thing was that the characters, I didn't find them particularly likable, any of them, and they seemed quite one-dimensional.
The mother was just horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
She was just horrible.
I don't know if it was on purpose, because the narrator is a child who basically sees people, I guess, one-dimensionally. It doesn't really get nuances. But I don't think so, because it would be too convenient.
Yeah. I also found it very inconsistent because the narrator, or like our point of view is a little girl. I forgot how old she is, something like 5, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes the book would be quite realistic in portraying her or making her understanding very innocent and simple. She doesn't get what the adults are talking about and doing. But then sometimes like the parents would go off on these huge monologues about their super complicated adult lives, and she would just understand suddenly.
Yeah.
It was very inconsistent. Makes no sense.
Agreed. And the third point for me, for which I disliked it, is the fact that I just didn't find it that scary personally. And it's not like I'm a huge horror fan, so I'm desensitized to this stuff. I just didn't really find it scary.
I found the beginning very creepy, but then it kind of just lost me. Maybe because it was just so repetitive and boring.
Yeah.
I think if this had been a short story, it would have been more effective.
Agreed.
So this was unfortunately a huge disappointment for both of us.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to end the vlog. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I am definitely inclined to try to do this challenge again, but maybe next time just within a few days. But in any case, I'm glad that I had this opportunity, this motivation to really focus a bit more on reading whenever I could. Because without this, I don't think that I would have been able to finish these 4 books. So that's a huge win for me. So let me know in the comments down below if you like watching reading challenge videos like this. And if you don't want to comment and just want to let me know that you're still watching, why don't you leave me a little candle emoji? Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hi guys, we got some very exciting book mail today that I wanted to... I don't want to show the addresses.
Oh. And show the side one.
The what?
Yeah, the side.
Yeah, that's
But this is a random box. This is not from Peg, and they just repurposed a random box that they
It
had.
looks nicer.
Okay, fine. Again.
Hey, it's constructive criticism. Okay.
It was not constructive. It didn't help.
Yes, it did.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go. No fighting, guys.
Hey guys,